metal was pretty cool. It's this belt buckle. Hey everyone, Dusty here, and over the past weekend I raced in the Calgary 70.3 Triathlon in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I just wanted to give my thoughts about the race and just kind of an overall course review for those of you looking at possibly doing the race in 2018 and onward. So I unfortunately had a bad race at Calgary 70.3, but for most people I talked to, even the ones that had bad races, they still had personal bests. And that's for two reasons. One, this course is super fast with the exception of a hill at 16K on the run. The rest of the course is super fast. And not only is it super fast, but each of the three disciplines were short. The swim was short, the bike was short, and the run was short. So I don't know if they'll keep all three short in future years, but for 2017 it was super short. So if you're looking up some of the results and you're like, holy crap, how did some of these people go super fast? Well, it was fast and the course was short. So we'll start with the swim. The swim takes place in the southeast section of Calgary in a little community of Calgary called Auburn Bay. And the swim was nice. The water temperature was just below the cutoff point for the pros, so we all got to swim in our wetsuits, which was nice. And of course all of the age groupers got to swim in their wetsuits. And you're pretty protected in Auburn Bay. You don't really have to worry about waves or anything like that. But one thing I will say is the lake is quite small, so not only was the course 100 to 200 meters short, I'm not 100% sure on how short it was. I haven't checked my Garmin yet. But because the lake is so short, you can't just do a normal out and back. You kind of swim to the one side of the lake and then do kind of a weird tangent and swim kind of a curve along the one side and then another weird tangent across the lake. And that's just because Auburn Bay isn't a very big lake and they need to try and fit 1900 meters in there somehow. So that's fine, that's part of racing. The thing that you need to know going into Calgary is you have to be okay sighting. You need to memorize the course, how to go around each of the turn buoys, and it was quite sunny during the swim portion on that day, so I made sure I wore really dark tinted glasses, and I think if you would have worn clear glasses on that day you would have been hooped unless you had some feet to follow in front of you and hopefully they were sighting properly. But as far as the swim goes, you definitely always want to pack dark tinted glasses anyways in case the sun is out. But especially for Calgary 70.3, you want to make sure that you're comfortable sighting. As long as the race is always in Auburn Bay, you're going to have to get good sighting just so you stay on course the whole time and not go off and add extra unnecessary distance onto your swim. Transition, coming out of the water, transition was very smooth. The pro transition was literally right beside the road and the mountain line, so there was no issue at all in transition for us. I believe for the age groupers it was pretty straightforward for them. I think it was on some big tennis courts right beside the road, so nothing irregular for the age groupers as far as transition goes. Now out on the bike course, the first maybe 2K you're winding your way out of Auburn Bay and out of Calgary to get on Highway 22X to head east. So that section was kind of fun, but after that the course is super boring and super fast as well. So the course is basically an out and back, and it's very, very flat and very fast. So I blew up on the bike. I had a bad race and I still went about 43k an hour. The bike course is short as well. I think it was only 86 kilometers. So you do get to cut off 4k from your bike time as well. There's not much to see once you get out on the bike course. It's just canola fields and farmland essentially. The highway is pretty nice. It's pretty smooth. You can hold aero position for probably 99% of that race. And the only elevation gain at all is when you exit one of the highways onto a overpass. But that's nothing. That's just maybe 50 meters of climbing only. Coming in off the bike and approaching the dismount line, I do wish that the race would have given more of a heads up and put some big signs saying slow down, you're approaching the dismount line and transition. I knew when I was getting into Auburn Bay that I was getting close, but you approach transition from a slightly different street than what you left. So I was just waiting until I was back on the streets that I exited on, and they knew they weren't coming because I was coming in on a different street. So when I turned one corner, the dismount line was right there, and it had kind of taken me by surprise, as well as a few of the other riders that I talked to. And the only bad thing about that was I had to slam on my brakes, and I wasn't able to get my feet out of my shoes, which isn't the end of the world, but if I had more of a heads up, I would have slowed down a little bit and got my feet out of my shoes and gotten ready to do a proper dismount. And then out onto the run course, it was a little hot, especially for some of the age groupers who had later heats in the day and were a little bit slower. They would have ran a lot of the run course during a pretty hot time of the day. And the run course, unlike the bike course, is beautiful. So you run way up along the river valley and then down along the river a little bit. There are some shaded sections, which is nice, and I believe all of the course was on a paved trail, so no gravel running or anything like that. And I don't remember how short the run course was, but it was short as well. So like I said, the swim was short, the bike was short, and the run was short. I also believe that the run had more elevation gain, or it was very similar to what the bike course had. It's not a super fast run course, but because it was short, people still had really decent times. And the one important thing to remember about this run course is that when you hit the 16K mark, there is a nasty, nasty hill that you have to run up. So just be prepared for probably like a 10+% grade, and you're going to be on that for probably anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes or more. And you might even want to walk it. I'm sure for a lot of you, walking up that hill was probably just as fast and more efficient than actually trying to run up the hill. But once you get to the top, it's all gravy. You get a little bit of a flat section before you head back down, and then it's on to the home stretch. So overall, I really enjoyed doing Calgary 70.3, and I would definitely recommend doing Calgary if you have specific time goals and just want it to PB a half Ironman. Also, though, you should know that if they keep the course the exact same and you do PB by a few minutes, there maybe should be a little asterisk beside that, because the course is so short. It probably made up 10+ minutes for some people, probably even more for others. And as far as what to do in your training to kind of match having a good race in Calgary, the first thing would be to practice sighting during some open water swims. You should be doing that anyways as a triathlete, but if you're going to do Calgary 70.3 and the swim is still going to be in Auburn Bay, then you need to practice your sighting, because like I said, it's just not a straight out and back. You do make some unusual turns in it, and just make sure that you have tinted goggles and that you can sight properly. Out on the bike, you just need, if you can get good at hammering, putting out a lot of power, and holding your aero position, you're going to just eat up this bike course. There aren't any hills at all. If you can hold your aero position and be comfortable for anywhere between 2 to 3 hours, you're just going to eat it up, and I guarantee you'll have the fastest 70.3 bike split of your life. And then the run, just you have to focus on being strong. There is a little bit of climbing. It's not a super hard course, but like I said, that hill does come at 16K, so you have to be ready for that. But all in all, a great race. Auburn Bay is a beautiful community and a really nice place to hold an event and transition and a swim start. The bike course, although boring, is super fast, and the run course is just beautiful, and that hill at 16K will definitely test you. So if you did do the race in 2017, I hope you had a great one, and if you're going to do this race in 2018 or in the future, hope this review kind of helped you out a little bit. If you have any questions about anything to do with Calgary or the race itself, just comment below and I'll get back to you. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe for more everything running, triathlon, and nutrition related.